In the heart of the Midlands of England, there's a city with legends attached, like those who stole from the rich and gave to the poor in Robin Hood, to the textile mills that gave the city its economic might, or the Teessider that won back-to-back European Cups with Nottingham Forest. But what is truly fascinating to me, in a football sense, is not the world's oldest professional club, Notts County, or the success of Nottingham Forest in Europe, but Nottingham as a city and its early links to football on the continent, specifically that of Italy. Let's start with the lesser known of the three stories that we're going to tell you, and Juventus, as it might have dawned on you that both Notts County and Juventus play in black and white striped kits, and there are strong links between the two clubs. When Juventus opened their current stadium, Notts County were one of the first teams to play there. But how are these two clubs linked? Well, it all goes back to the early days of Juventus, who were founded in 1894. However, the old lady was not the first football club in the city of Turin, with Internazionale Torino having been formed in 1891, which was a merger of two clubs which included the Torino Football and Cricket Club, which was founded sometime before that by an Italian who had worked in Nottingham. His name, Edoardo Bosio. He lived and worked in Nottingham for a period of time before moving to Turin. Bosio worked in the textiles industry, which Nottingham was famous for. Now, you might think that this is where Juventus and their kit colour comes into play, but no, this little story has nothing to do with Juventus, but does show there was already established links between Nottingham and Turin. Although I should add that Bosio did invite a former colleague of his from his days in Nottingham to Italy called Herbert Kilpin. Back to Juventus. Juventus originally wore pink and black, which is still used to some degree as an away colour. It was Englishman Tom Gordon Savage who was asked if he had any connections in England who could supply Juventus with kits and a new shirt colour that wouldn't wash away as easy as the pink coloured shirts did. Luckily for Juventus, Tom Gordon Savage had contacts in Nottingham and they could get them the shirts they just so happened to need. Just so happens that this contact was also a supporter of Notts County, and Juventus have worn black and white ever since. Additionally, Tom Gordon Savage himself had come from Nottinghamshire and played for Internazionale Torino, becoming a teammate of Herbert Kilpin and later joining Juventus aged 33. But our story doesn't end here, because we're changing cities from Torino to Milano. And this is where Herbert Kilpin comes into our story. Herbert Kilpin was born in Nottingham, the son of a butcher who grew up on the Mansfield Road in Nottingham, and he was one of the figures in the founding of a Nottingham-based football club which would end up wearing red shirts after Italian national hero Giuseppe Garibaldi, that amateur club that Kilpin would help found at the age of just 13 would go on to become a football club called Nottingham Forest. Kilpin also played for Notts Olympic, who wore red and black colours from 1891 onwards. However, by this point, Kilpin was living in Italy. Kilpin followed Edoardo Bosio, the merchant that founded Torino's football and cricket club, which later became Inter Torino. Kilpin didn't stay in Turin, leaving for Milan in 1898 with teammate Samuel Richard Davies, who along with Alfred Edwards formed the Milan Football and Cricket Club. That club would go on to win the national title in 1901 and now goes by the name AC Milan. The house Kilpin was born in on the Mansfield Road is now painted Milan red with the AC Milan badge on the window. However, where does Inter Milan fit into our story? Because Kilpin, who had been playing for AC Milan, retired in 1907. There became a split in the then Milan Football and Cricket Club as to whether to accept more foreign members. It led to the forming of a second Milan-based side, which took a lot of foreign talent, preventing AC from actually winning another league title until 1950. That club was Internazionale Milano, or Inter Milan if you just want to anglicize it. So Kilpin's retirement inadvertently caused the formation, at least indirectly, of Inter Milan, and that is how Nottingham became the most important city in Italian football.